I have had this conversation with countless clients, and I was like, why have I not made a bit of content on this? So I want to rip apart today the big misconception that life is all downhill from when you turn 30. So anyone that is 30, anyone that has turned 30, or anyone that is about to turn 30, you know that the conversation will arise. How do you feel about turning 30? I don't know what it is. It is obviously quite a notable point in your life. It's like a decade from being a teenager. You're kind of going from that point from being like in your 20s to being like a young adult. You're like, you've got responsibilities. You're typically at a point in life where you've maybe got your own home. You've been working in a career for a certain period of time. You've ascended. You've maybe got children. You're at this point where you're like, do you know what? My life is totally different now from where I was. But for a lot of people, they treat it like a bit of a nail in the coffin, especially in Scotland, especially in the UK, where it's almost like life is downhill from here. And I speak to people who are inquiring, who are chatting, and I just hear it in people's undertones sometimes, and they talk like they are 70 years old because they're in their 30s now, that like an old man, or I couldn't do that anymore, or my days are past for that. It's like, mate, you are literally in the prime of your life. And I want to talk about this today and actually switch your perspective on it completely and rip this to bits, because for a lot of people, I know I've kind of joked about it, but like turning 30 and want to do a triathlon, right? Is it a midlife crisis? Is it a rite of passage? We'll know by the end of this video anyway. So I want to kind of dive into like the journey for most people. So unless you are a young athlete or your parents have a seriously athletic background, you're going to probably go down the same path, right? You go to school, especially in the UK, you start getting into partying, drinking, you start to adopt some poor behaviours, you start to adopt poor behaviours with food. Now, depending on your background, how you've been brought up, your belief system around food, eating, all these things, behaviours, junk food, it's either going to be kept the same and continue, made better, or get worse. And for a lot of people, it gets worse. Now, that can be down to a lot of different things. It can do to your friend circle. It could be to how you're living. As I said, maybe you're someone that's partying really, really heavy. You could have a sedentary job. You could start to have kids and you're no longer as active as what you previously were. And what you need to remember, guys, is that like our bodies and our health are just an amalgamation of our most recent actions and behaviors. So that if you are not actively trying to be better, your life will shape you. And this is a conversation that so many people have with us all the time. It's like, I used to be so fit when I was younger. I used to be so lean when I was younger. And it's like, look at your circumstances at the time. Number one, you're probably exaggerating a little bit. You probably weren't as lean as what you think you are. You probably weren't as fit as what you think you were as well. You were just a bit more than what you are right now. And then number two, look at your lifestyle then to back now. Yeah, you maybe ate a bit more junk food back then, to the same as what you eat now, but you walked everywhere. You didn't have a car. Like even the stuff that you got up to the weekends, you were active. You weren't sat in your ass watching TV all the time. Like the thing that you need to remember is genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. Anyway, for a lot of people, as I've said already, unless you are actively trying to be better in your health and fitness, you're not going to be better, because your life is going to shape you. So if you do not shape your life, if you do not shape your body, health, physique, fitness, whatever you want to call it, your life will shape you. And what you accept becomes your standard. And a lot of people just do not take ownership of that. They just don't at all. They're always like, it's because of this and it's because of that. No, it's because of you. You are the person that is in control of your life. And for a lot of people, their 20s either make them or break them. But that's okay, because I have helped so many people who have literally came to me in their mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, 30 years old, and they have like completely been under the illusion that like, I just want to be a bit fitter than I am right now. Like if I don't feel this way, I'm happy. And you're like, man, that's aiming small. Now I get that, and it's my job as a coach to help someone think bigger. But what you need to understand is that your 30s at the prime of your life. One of my really, really close friends, Chris Bradley, who was my mentor for a good few years and I actually worked with him as well, spoke about this a lot. Like the prime of your life is the 30 to 40 years old, because when you think about it, you're the most emotionally aware you're going to be if you've been trying to work on it, and you should be as well, because obviously it's the most you've been alive for the longest period of time. Typically, your financial situation should be a lot more in order. Your responsibilities, as in you should be clear on what you want. Your friend circle's probably got a lot smaller. You're probably a lot less distracted. And actually, from an actual like personal, professional standpoint, you should be the most focused and the most clear and capable to do the things that you want to do. As I mentioned already, like this is the path for most people, right? Unless you were brought up as an athlete or your parents were athletes that really, really like bestowed these behaviors on you, You weren't going to just become that person at 20 years old. So this is what the path looks like for most people, by the way. Like the majority of the population do this route that I'm talking about right now. Why do you think so many people are absolutely crushing high rocks that are in their 30s right now? It's because they are aligned, right? I find it amazing when I come across someone. I had Ross Walker on the podcast the other week, 23 years old. The guy's like just doesn't drink, so focused in training. That was not me when I was 23 years old. My priorities were different. So the point I'm trying to get at here, that's a prime example of someone that has a great athletic background, that was doing that from a young age, that was focused and made the right decisions from an early point. Most folk just aren't ready to do that. Again, something that Mr. Beast talks about, the biggest YouTuber on the planet. If you don't know who Mr. Beast is, go and find out who he is. He's a really, really interesting guy. He's 26 years old. He's got the most subscribers on the planet, right? And he said this thing that really stuck with me. And he's like, most people don't find their higher purpose being the thing that they love doing. That could be in sport, health, fitness, personal development, business, whatever that is. He's like, most folk don't find it till they're in their 30s. I was just lucky to find it when I was 11 years old. And this is the thing that you need to remember when it comes to going through changing your life, is that the things that you're doing now that you're like, oh, I wish I'd done that sooner, or I wish I'd done that in my early 20s, you weren't ready. If you tried to do the things that you are doing now, that you feel like, oh God, I'm annoyed, I'm pissed off, it's late, why did I pick this up later? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. This is your life story and this is the way that it looks. But ultimately, the things that you are doing now, you didn't want them when you were 20. You didn't want them when you were 19 years old. And this is something I heard a while ago. It's like every time you go through points, folk are always talking about, right, I want to get into coaching, but you know what? I'm going to wait 6 months. What you want in 6 months is going to be different to what you want right now. So if you want that right now, take action on it. Don't fucking wait. Stop waiting on things to happen to you. Make them happen for you. And this is what so many folk don't realize, is that like the version of you that's 40 versus the version of you that's 20, they want two totally different things. They have a totally different belief system, totally different desires, needs, and wants. You're two totally different people. Although at heart, you are the same person. You've got the same name, same blood type, same body. Like who you are as a person has developed and changed, and people just are not aware of that. So why is it that we get to this age and then we just have this like innate calling to be like, I need to go and do a triathlon, I need to do an Ironman, I need to go and do this thing, right? And I actually seen this in a bit of content recently, and it was Sam Fourth. I can't remember. He's like a content creator on Instagram, TikTok. He's funny, right? And he just kind of joked about this thing that like what most folk go through, and it's like seasonal depression. He's like turning 30 and he's joking about it. And the bit at the end is like triathlon, and I was pissing myself because it's so true. It's so true that like, and I done it as well. Like I got to this point, and I want to kind of unpack why we feel this way when we get it. So I was in the military for 5.5 years, from the age of 17 to I left when I was 23 years old. And what attracted me to the military was that you were part of something, that you were part of like a unit, you were part of like a brand as such, although it's not a brand, it's the military, right? But it was almost like this like sort of like band of brothers idea, right? And that's what really attracted me to it. And then like you earned your stripes, and there was rank, and there was structure, and there was like medals. I've actually got a medal, by the way, which is mad. And these are things that I found were really cool. Now, when I left the military, I always felt like that was kind of missing in my life, like these things, these sort of stages. When I started running my own business now, you build up your own credibility through your own actions as well. But what I found when I embarked on the journey of becoming an Ironman is that it was a rite of passage. Now, I've actually wrote this down here. If you look at any people that have achieved huge success in anything that they do, they're usually credible in one area, right? That's what makes folks so impressive. My mate right now is walking the entire length of America, and I was like, mate, you need to document that shit. People are going to watch that. He's posted 19 times, and he's literally nearly got more followers than me on Instagram. Now, the point I'm trying to get at here is it's a unique opportunity. That's a rite of passage to doing that. When I done the Keltman a few years ago, it was a pipe dream. I remember like seeing someone do that years ago, and I was like, God, that, like, I didn't even want to say it out loud, but me embarking on that journey, I learned so much about myself. And there's something about endurance that, I don't know what it is, like people go like that now, like folk are like, I want to do a marathon. And I'm like, you're not ready to do the preparation for a marathon. You could do a marathon, but it'll probably be quite half-cooked and half-baked. And when you go onto that journey, you learn so much about yourself because you have to show up when you don't want to show up. Ailey is in prep for the Boston Marathon right now. She's going for a sub 3:10. She wants to get like a really high qualifying time. Ultimately, the journey is to get to sub 3 hours, which is incredible. But it's so scary, it's so hard. And like this week, she's just not enjoying training. I've watched her go out and she's covered in blisters, her nails are falling off. She's just so like just does not enjoying running right now, but she's just going and doing it. When you turn up when you don't want to turn up, it teaches you so much about yourself. It makes you realize that you're not as good as you think you are. It makes you realize that you've got weaknesses, but ultimately it makes you take so much ownership of your life. And for a lot of people, it's not that they're having a midlife crisis and I want to do a triathlon. It's that they've got to this point where they've spent a lot of their 20s not really accomplishing much. Yeah, they've maybe had things like a family and they've maybe like they're in a good position with their job, but they've never had to really work for it, right? They've never had to like put in like an unbelievable amount of discipline and effort, right? Because let's be honest, right? Someone can be in a career for 8 years, 10 years and do pretty well at it if the priorities in order. They're not sitting saying that like, oh, it was blood, sweat and tears every single day. Someone could get to like middle management or like a pretty like sub CEO role or whatever, like doing really, really well and working hard. Not saying that they're not trying, right? I'm not saying that. But when you enter the likes of a preparation for an Ironman, a marathon, like a respectable time that you know that you have to put in a lot of work for, you have to show up. And that was one thing that I really learned about my time in the military was like, it's a rite of passage. And humans, if you look at different tribes going back thousands of years, there was always a rite of passage. There was always a thing. Or like, if you look at monks, like what they do, they have these like mad things that they do at the end where like a boy passes from boy to man and they have to go and spend days in the jungle on their own and stuff. Like it is a rite of passage. And I believe why a lot of people want to do things like this is because they are lacking that in their life and they do not know how to get to there. Now, inside Ready for Anything, we have a roadmap of how we take a client from the beginning, the early stages, someone that is literally maybe not even got much of an aerobic base. They're maybe doing bodybuilding style training. They've got a bit of skin in their game with their training. They know they're committed. They're not lacking in motivation. And we have the blueprint to take them all the way to maturity where they have the capacity and the mental resilience and the stability in their lifestyle to actually take on stuff like this. It takes time. And that's because I have been through this. And what that does for you is it gives you such a deep level of fulfillment. So yeah, guys, that is why a breakdown of the big misconception of turning 30, that life's slowing down. I don't believe it. I think it's like you're coming into the absolute prime of your life. This is where you can really make a positive impact. It's where your fitness peaks. It's where your emotional awareness is in the prime of your life. It's where you're still young and robust, like your body's still in a great spot. So do not fall victim to thinking that this is the end of things. Like, do not dare do that because it's so sad and you will not get those years back if you tell yourself those stories. So yes, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode today. As always, look around the screen. I think it's down here, over there. Hit subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do it. I am putting so much energy and effort into this. I'm getting such amazing feedback from our most recent videos, our podcasts, our solo episodes, our travel vlogs and what we're doing. And I just really want this channel to grow. I have got the audacious goal, it's in the 8 days, of hitting 750 subs for the first quarter of the year. We are not even half. We're just over 60% of the way to that. Please, please, please help me on my goal of getting to 750 subs for the first part of this year. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. See you later. Goodbye.